Hey, what's up, Black Knight Nation? This is Sal Interdonato here with my co-host Steve Anderson. We're going to recap the Army-Navy game and maybe do a little bit of talk for the Army. Still got one more game left, the Armed Forces Bowl against Missouri, so we'll talk about that too. First off, this podcast is brought to you by Higher Echelon. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence, ran by Joe Ross. Joe Ross, former Army fullback, former Army assistant coach, former Army officer, and we thank Joe Ross for sponsoring this podcast. Steve, man, we had to take a day, right? We needed a day to digest that one on Saturday. I was there live, and man, it was disappointing. And I have a play that really bugged the heck out of me, but we'll get to that much later. But first off, just some quick thoughts on 17-13 loss, Army to Navy, a game that really. Man, the Black Knights could took control of this game in the first half and didn't settle for field goals, kept Navy with a pulse, and in the second half, it was all Navy.
Well, yeah, I mean, historically, this game is always close. Well, at least historically in the large sense, and then definitely within the last few years. Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow. I had chats with all the boys, guys, Josh McNary was at the game. So I had chats with all the guys that we play with and, a few guys from previous classes and stuff. And it was just, it was kind of like I hate to say it, but it was almost like the second half felt powerless. Like there was nothing that we could do or no momentum we could grab that ever made, it kind of feel like, okay, here's where Army's gonna, when it was 17-13 or when it's 14-13, okay, here's when Army's gonna answer. Navy did a really good job of keeping the momentum down and not really allowing us to keep our legs churning, which was, honestly surprising to seeing how we did it against the best of the best all year. Never really, when you put up 56 points against the ACC runner-up, just kind of surprising. But yeah, definitely tough loss, and definitely needed that day. Even as we start this podcast, I got a little courage here to get us talking.
It's rough. Lucky I was working most of the day. News did come out today that Andre Carter was named AP All-American third team. You know what? I didn't think that Andre Carter was getting any respect this year at all for most of his season, right? And for him to be named, All-American third team, that's a great sign. The last Army AP All-American, I believe, was a guy who we had on the podcast not too long ago, Mike Mayweather, in 1990. So that's a while back, and that's
really
I guess good news. Bad news, loss. Good news, game. Kind of good news that there's another game to be played, Coach Munkin said today, right? They have another game. That's not the end of the season. You can't end your season on a note like that, a loss to a bitter rival, right? So they get bowl game now and see how they come out.
Yeah, that's how I sleep at night, Sal. Losing the Navy my senior year, knowing that I had one more chance to end my career as a winner. So these seniors have a bowl game. It's great atmosphere down there. We'll get to that a little bit later if we have time. But, yeah, the kind of definitely I hope the team took time to reflect and forget about this because Missouri's no joke. But, yeah, it was just kind of just almost a tale of two halves, especially with us, literally – shotgun right out of the gate, Christian Anderson going for, I think 54, 56 yarder, was awesome. I happened to be at a watch party here in Colorado Springs. I had, everyone from a 1966 grad to, 2016 grad. So it was a very, very cool thing to see that, 1966 was quite a while ago, and that guy is still showing up to watch parties to watch the Army-Navy game.
Pretty impressive, no doubt. And Steve, after that first drive, 4 plays in, you score a touchdown, a long touchdown, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a big day for Army offense, right? Look, that was too easy. That was really too easy. And then they get down in the red zone again twice more in the first half, and they had to settle for field goals. And you know what? There's a couple things that really kind of still bug me tonight. And one of them is I guess it's their next drive where it's a 3rd and 7 from inside the red zone. Clock's running down. Delay a game penalty on a 3rd and 7 from inside the red zone. No time. Now, I know it's the first quarter, Steve, but every drive is important, right? And when you get that close into the red zone, somebody call a timeout, please. Somebody don't let the 5 yards, get knocked off. And another problem with that play is there's no Christian Anderson on the field. Christian Anderson's on the sidelines. It's 3rd and 7. He's on the sidelines. It's 3rd and 12. Passing down, I would think, right? 3rd and 12 is a passing down, you would think. Christian Anderson is not in the game. I did not get it. I said it from the press box. I did not get that. They ran a jet sweep to Tyler Robinson, got 4 yards on 3rd and 12, and settled for a field goal. Now, was that your mentality in that series, to settle for a field goal? I asked Coach Monken about it after the game, and he told me they were trying to make it a more manageable 4th down. Now, I don't know if he got confused with drives, because on 3rd and 12, if you run a jet sweep, man, I mean, you better get in the end zone on 3rd and 12 from like the 17 or 18, right? I mean, you're not looking to run 4th down from the I can't even do the math, Steve, inside the 10.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he thought he could get the edge and get, maybe 8 or 9 off the jet sweep. I don't know. He probably had his analytics sheet saying, hey, when we're in this area, we run the jet sweep where, we average, 7 to 9 yards or whatever coaches use these days that help them make play calls or our offensive coordinator. But more so, Sal, we can talk about play calls, but, unfortunately, it just seemed like Navy wanted it more.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me to say because, I don't have a good track record against Navy personally. But we truly felt like we fought like hell. And I don't think anybody has ever come up to me and said, it seemed like Navy just wanted it more than you guys. So it didn't, and it wasn't like a lack of effort or anything. It just, for whatever reason, when throughout the entire season, when we expected, Army to come through, there was, either mental mistakes, which isn't very common, or just flat out missed assignments, which I thought was very, very rare because we've always been so crisp at executing. I think that what really seems strange to me is that we kind of got away from running up the middle in the second half. We kind of abandoned, shoving it down their throat in the second half because of the late second quarter, early third quarter, basically all third quarter, we didn't see a lot of success. And I just felt like we could have really shoved it down their throat a little more. But yeah, back to your call. I've said it all year. Christian Anderson should be in 99% of the time.
Yeah.
I think he's just as good at running the ball, and I think he is, a much more dynamic quarterback that you have to respect the touch passes that he brings.
Yeah, Steve, if you
I'm not at practices. Yeah. I know Tyir Tyler is a fabulous runner. I mean, he is tough. A running back that plays quarterback, and I know he was a starter at the season, but I just felt like, we saw it once we went 4-0. When Christian went down, how much that hurt. I really believed in Christian Anderson as a starting quarterback. So, I'm not at practice. It's just from a guy that watches Saturdays, what he thinks.
A couple quick points there, right? If Christian's in on that 3rd and 12, at least you present the threat of a pass, right? At least you present a threat of a pass on that play. And Navy's playing at 8 or 9 guys on the line. I got so many points here. Here's a couple other points I like to make at this moment, Steve. One is first down for Army in this game. 13 out of the 18 times they had first down, they had 2 yards or less. That's just not gonna get it done. Period. No. That's just not gonna get it done. And as far as running up the middle, I thought Jacoby Buchanan had 4 carries on the day, maybe. Tyrell Robinson ran those inside plays at slot back at least twice that I remember, maybe 3 times. So he might have ran inside as much as Jacoby. And you know how they never pitched the ball once in that game, Steve, to my knowledge. They didn't pitch the ball once. How about a toss play out to Robinson? Anything. The guy has speed. He'll make people miss. I don't know. There were no toss plays. There were no pitches. There was nothing really outside. There was jet sweeps, but I mean,
you know, I know it had to have been part of the game plan. We came out and we threw the ball right away. Like, hey, get out of the box or we'll do this all day. Like statement plays like that are what allow you to run the triple option the way we've seen it ran all year. So I thought enough of that. I thought the defense played very well. Obviously Andre Carter had a pretty good game. You know, he got kind of caught in that one reverse that's kind of broke him down the sideline that ended up leading them to a touchdown.
Yeah, you know what? Both of their reverse plays one was on 4th down. I'm not sure where the first one was. It might not have been on 4th down. Both of those plays led to Navy's touchdowns. They were probably their biggest plays of the game, right? And one's on 4th and 4, and another, the first one where he's in the right position, but maybe the guy just jukes a little bit or makes a cut. He cut away from Andre, avoided the tackle. Where was everybody else? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I have to watch the plays more closely.
Yeah,
but
those are the mental mistakes / missed assignments. You know, at least when I was there, it was, feet, keys, and eyes, right? So you got to have your feet right when you start a play. You got to know what your key is, and then you got to use your eyes to watch your key. Almost certainly. Someone had to have been calling reverse, because they don't. That's an awkward direction to go that you usually don't see. So, but I mean, look, in any game as a defense, you give up 17 points, you give your offense a chance to win. Any game you score 13 points, you don't really give your chance to win. We always said the sweet spots, 21. You put 21 points, 20 points up on the board. At least our motto when we were a defense, we said, look, if our offense puts up 20 points, we have a chance to win the game. So I also like to be interested, and you might have it in front of you, Sal, is just the breakdown of ball, where we started each drive. And triple option lives off first down, right? And you already kind of broke that down for us, but it just seemed like we were always starting, further and further back as the game went on. So,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't definitely in the favor. I mean, Navy controlled that certainly in the second half. If you look at, some drive charts here, Army's best field. Yeah. I mean, Army had one drive where they started in Navy territory. So Steve, they only had 4 drives in the second half, right? And they started at Army's 25, Army's 19, Army's 25, and Army's 33. So, I mean, just the fact that they only had 4 possessions, and that, that drive to start the fourth quarter by Navy that just ate up half of the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And when they get that fake punt that wasn't supposed to go to Diego Fago, but somehow it ended up in Diego Fago's hands. I mean, that was key, because if Army can get off the field there, and how about if they tackle Fago and that play does not go for a first down?
Yeah, I think that
look at the field position they get, right?
Was that I forget? I don't think that was Carter, but yeah, I mean, we had a guy that had him 2 yards behind the.
Here's the deal: it was Brandon Walters, right? Brandon Walters is a slot back, and he did everything he could to try to slow him down a little bit, right? Fago's a big guy. Brandon Walters is going to bring down Fago by himself on a play like that. He had good reaction. My thinking is this, right? How about leaving the defense in the game on 4th down for a punt? How about leaving the defense in and then sending back Terrell? I don't know if Robinson was returning punts at that time. Sending Cam Jones back to return the punt. Leave 10 guys. Leave your starting defense on the field. Why?
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
were they trying to block it?
I played on punt return team, and basically anything less than 5 yards, a fake is possible. So again, it's feet, keys, and eyes, and when that ball goes to Fergo, who's right now probably my favorite college football player of all time. I'm being sarcastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
You gotta forget about whatever the return is or how you were supposed to play it, and just get to where you need to get to, which is stopping the ball from reaching that first down line. So it was
I don't know.
Definitely another part of the game. When you talk about winning all 3 phases, I know they didn't do so well in the kicking game to begin with, but I feel like they definitely were on par, or that fake really. Again, they did a great job of keeping the momentum on their side.
Couldn't get the ball away
in the second half. In the second half, I really felt like, the momentum was on Navy's side for the majority of it, and we just couldn't seem to get that spark. We just couldn't seem to get that, that play that was like, okay, now it's time to get the lead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just look at that. That was definitely a game, important play in the game, no doubt. The one play that really irked me, and I'm the dark cloud, Steve. I'm sorry about that. There's one play that irked me is when Army does get the ball back, right? And they have a 3rd and 8, and they decide that they're going to try a trick play of their own, and they're going to send Christian Anderson out for a pass play. And you know what? I watched. That's the only play, Steve, that I watched again really closely since the game's ended. And you know what? Terrell Robinson did throw a good ball. He did, but Christian Anderson was covered. I looked at that play and I said, you know what? Is Isaiah Alston on the field, by the way? Guess what? Isaiah was. And why did you have to go to the trickery on a 3rd and 8 where it's a really important down in the game? I guess they saw something. Like we say, I guess the coaches see something from the box. But you know who was closer to catching that ball? Brahim Murphy, who was coming back to the ball. I don't know. I was so ticked off on the field when that play was called. I'm like,
if we want to talk about the underusage of Alston, we can all day. I mean, I don't think that DB I don't think either of their corners had a chance at covering it. If we would have thrown the ball to him 10 times, I think he would have had 8 catches. Just simple.
One catch, 35 yards.
No, I know. I think if we ran 5-yard slants, 5-yard ends, 10-yard comebacks, and I know that's not our offense, Sal. Like, I'm not trying to say we need to go to the run and gun, but what I'm saying is you have a specimen out there, okay? When you have a specimen out there, let's just keep them honest. Keep the defense honest. So
yeah, and you know what? Going back, just real quick, going back to that drive the second drive where they settled for the first field goal. How did they get down the field? They got down the field by throwing the football. Kay Bernard had a catch to the 18-yard line. They got down the field throwing, and they just we can look at the stats all day, right, Steve? We could look at 56-yard run by Christian Anderson. After that, I think it was like 68 yards total rushing by Army. It's not working running the football. Like you said, you have weapons. They tried to get Terrell Robinson on that, that slant play, and Christian just was hurried. He was rushed on the play, and he threw it a little high, and Tyrell couldn't get the ball. There was attempts there, the execution, and to be honest with you, up front, Navy's defensive line kind of owned Army for most of the game. Whether Army was running or passing, they kind of owned them, made some big plays, and it wasn't a good day. It wasn't a good day for the mob. It wasn't a good day for the offense.
Yeah, and I think I think there's something to that, to where I don't think anybody will argue that was our best Army football. And I think some would argue that was some of Navy's best football. And that's why it's such a, it's America's game. I think I read a stat that that game had more bets. There was more sports bets on the Army-Navy game than there's been on any NFL game this year. So people were watching, a lot of people watch. There's a lot of emotions. And there's a lot of just extracurricular that comes with the Army-Navy game. And I just feel like, we just didn't put our best foot forward, and Navy put one of their best foot forwards, and that's the end result was 17-13. Yeah. You can, Fago, I think Fago came out and said, it's easy to make wins when you play against teams like UMass and Bucknell, and he had his choice words about, kind of like, the Navy brotherhood versus the Army brotherhood. But winning's important. And at the end of the day, we've got to look forward to December 22nd, right? Give these seniors a chance to go out as winners. And just kind of put this one behind us and look at the film and see how we're going to beat Missouri.
Yeah, I'm just going to say one more thing about the game. Another key play was that Tai Levitai run, 8-yard touchdown run, right? When he ran through two safeties, basically. He tried to basically shoulder tackle him. And that was a momentum changer. You stop him there at the 2 or 3, and Navy has to make a decision. Are you going to go for it, or are you going to kick a field goal? Right. And I thought that's a sign that just Navy wanted it a little bit more on that play. Right. I mean, that's a sign that they and the fundamentals in tackling aren't the best on that play. But that guy would not be denied.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's tough to watch as a defensive player because Broughton has made that tackle 1,000 times this year. Yeah. Broughton is one of our go-to, reliable, just studs on the defensive side. And for whatever reason, when Navy's running back is at the 2-yard line, he decides to shoulder chuck him. And he gets a good piece of him, but not enough. And he just kind of slides the shoulders and he falls another yard into the end zone. And it was just kind of like, oh man, why not just secure the tackle? I'm watching that. I'm watching it at the watch party, and there's a few Army football players from a couple years before me, defensive guys, and they're just like, what? And
it almost like said Cunningham was standing him up for somebody to make the big stop, to set him up for that big hit. But I don't know. The Levitai is 210 pounds, Steve, and he's not a small quarterback at all. So I mean, that was you. I don't know. It just like the swag. I don't know. Navy just seemed to have a little bit more swag in the game than Army did. I thought. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't want to look, and I haven't. Let's see. I went to I didn't make it to a game this year. I'm contemplating flying down for the Armed Forces Bowl, just me. But it just kind of felt like it was not as bad, but watching it was kind of like, here, almost like a realization that we may not pull this out.
Yeah.
Which I don't really feel like I felt all year, like every game, whether it was close, Wake Forest, even the Wisconsin game until late, like it's just kind of like, all right, we got this, the belief that Army was going to win had always been there. And I felt that kind of fizzle, just watching the game, and just kind of looking around and feeling the energy of where we were at in Colorado Springs. So
I have no idea where both of these situations happened, but I just want to bring this up and then we can get to the bowl game. Yeah, the one play that got a lot of attention in the first half was when Anthony Atkins rushed the ball. It was tackled, and Diego Fagot held on to his ankle for at least 6 or 7 seconds after the whistle. And Anthony Atkins was just coming back from an ankle injury. Diego Fagot's twisting and holding on to the ankle, and it took Jordan Law, Booby Law, an Army offensive tackle, to rip Fagot's hands off Atkins's ankle, and Atkins, I guess, in momentum, stomps on Fagot's chest, double personal fouls. I was thinking about this on the drive home, and even in the press box, is like when something like that happens, right? In the past, you've had a Bryce Holland, you've had a Mike Johnson, right? You've had guys that would step up in that, maybe on a play would give a receipt back for that, right, so to speak. And I saw there was a play where Noah Knapp had a block, and he just totally destroyed Fagot. Now, I don't know if that was before or after the incident, but Fagot just kept on going. He had a late hit on Tyro Robinson out of bounds. Steve, he took a little bit of a page. He tried to leap over the offensive line a couple times, which is legal, I guess. But the play went the other way. He was nowhere near the play one time.
They trust me. I got a few texts about his failed Steve Anderson impression. When he tried it a couple times and failed, they're like, "When's this guy going to learn he's not Steve Anderson?"
It was more than one time, right? I only saw it once, but it was more than one time. I mean, granted, the guy was giving it his all, but I mean, in that game where, especially the Army Navy game, right? That's a game where these coaches know each other. Rivalry game, for the most part, it's clean to the whistle football, right? You play your hardest to the whistle. When the whistle sounds, plays over, go back to your huddles and do it all over again. And that play just kind of, I mean, I tweeted out there, borderline ejection on that play, because that's an intent to hurt a player. That's an intent to injure and hurt a player right there.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any. I don't think you can, in anybody's right mind. The information and intelligence was known by the Navy football team about Atkins' ankle, right?
Yeah.
Like, that stuff. You get the injury reports, you prepare, what they, if you know what a team likes to do on 3rd and 2 from the right hash on your side of the field, trust me, who's got an ankle injury, who's got a shoulder injury, who's coming off of, the flu or whatever.
Yeah.
And just dirty play. That, I'm not going to say Army, Navy, Air Force players, are, basically not so, we're supposed to be better than that. Dirty plays happen all the time. But when I think of dirty plays, I think of a guy, scratching someone, or, I've got my butt pinched, or kind of something within that area, but something that really, the dirty plays I've experienced have been more of annoyance to try to get a reaction out of me.
Yeah.
Versus, someone trying to yank down on my knee after I tore my ACL, or me being on the bottom of a pile and someone twisting my leg around. Because at the end of the day, Atkins is going to go be an Army officer and lead, America's sons and daughters. And when you do a play like that, you jeopardize more than just a guy's football career. You jeopardize his profession. And unfortunately, Fagot just doesn't understand that. Through his actions and his words, I think it's pretty clear this young man is still a little far away from the character aspect that we'd like to see in young officers. So hopefully he can get it right the next 6 months before he gets in front of his seamen and do what he needs to do.
You can understand a little bit of the dislike when you're playing these games, right? I mean, with Army and Navy, you can understand that a little bit, but that goes taking it a little bit too far. And even last year, I remember the past couple of years in this games, if there's like a pushing or a shoving match, normally number 54 is involved in it for Navy, during these games. And there's a lot of talking. I get it on the field and stuff, but I mean, to to grab an ankle with the intent to injure a guy. I mean, we're not playing 60s or 70s football here, Steve. And for the referees, from what it appeared to be like, we're just going to whistle Atkins for a personal foul. I mean, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I think another thing is that the referees could have set the tone better there with hey, ain't gonna be none of this crap going on. But I think another part of it is just regardless of how you feel about the rivalry, how much you dislike Air Force, Navy, how much they dislike Army. There's a mutual respect there that you don't want to hurt anybody. If a wide receiver runs a slant and I hit him and I break his collarbone, there was no intent there, right? Yeah. I never wanted to hurt anybody. I wanted to discourage their courage and send them limping back to the huddle. I do not want to go back over the middle. Or I do not want to keep playing against these guys because they just won't stop hitting. But never did I go into any Saturday or any game like I cannot wait to hurt this guy because I know he had an ankle injury. Anyway.
Yeah.
I
guess
I'm done talking about.
Yeah, I think we talked enough about that. So now Army moves on to Missouri. They'll play them on the 22nd of December. They'll play them in the Armed Forces Bowl.
Sal, what bowl game is Navy going to?
Yeah, they played their bowl game on Saturday, I think, right?
They did.
Yeah.
All right. That does sweeten it a little bit, but not
that
really.
was their season.
But, we're going down to Armed Forces Bowl. Where they played it this year?
TCU, Fort Worth.
Okay, TCU.
Yeah.
Because our game got pushed to SMU Stadium when we played SMU. So I was curious if they're going to.
Now you know TCU. What? The First Responder Bowl is now at SMU Stadium for at least right now. So now this is a venue that Army players have been at a few years back. I believe that was the Houston game, right? 70-14 Houston game, where the last time Army played in the Armed Forces Bowl. So, Missouri, obviously an SEC team, right?
Gotta love that.
6-6. Similar to last year, West Virginia, 6-6 team you get from the SEC. They're going to have some athletes. They're going to have, some size on their offensive defensive lines. And then are you going to be able to match that for 60 minutes and win a game in the fourth quarter? Maybe is what it's going to be like. Because I don't think it'll be a game like Houston where they just run away with it. But I think that it's a good measuring stick for Army. See where they're at.
Yeah, anytime you get to play against SEC, I mean, doesn't matter. They recruit big, they recruit fast. Missouri not too long ago had, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year who ended up going pro. I forget his name, but he was taken by the Rams, I think, in the 7th round or something.
Yeah, they have a good running back. They have a guy who I believe set their single season rushing record. I don't know if he's going to play or not. Hopefully he does play. I look at this. Well, you remember next year, I believe Army was supposed to go to LSU, right? And LSU canceled. Not LSU. I apologize. Tennessee. They're playing LSU.
Tennessee.
Yeah, they're playing LSU in a couple of years. They're supposed to go to Tennessee. Long day. And Tennessee canceled the game. So I guess this is at least another SEC opponent that you can measure. You could see how you fare against. And we'll see the mentality of this team, right? They have teas this week. They have final exams this week. Final exams go to Friday. And Coach Munkin says Friday's practice, Saturday is a morning probably practice, and they take off to the Armed Forces Bowl. Steve, when you played in the bowl game, right? Did you do a lot of your prep work when you were at the site, or did you guys do a lot of your prep work at West Point?
Ours was a little. I mean, theirs is pretty close to when they get when they're done with exams. So ours was the 30th. So ours
you had some time.
Ours was a little. We basically had a week. So we prepped. We stayed. I think, if I remember correctly, I think we stayed an extra 2 days. So we practiced. We did tees. Practiced a couple extra days at the academy. Went home a little late, and then we showed up.
Oh yeah.
I want to say the day after Christmas, but it might have been. Let's see. So we stayed 27, 28, 29. Yeah, I think we showed up the 27th because we had 3 nights in the hotel, 27, 28, 29. Played the game on the 30th. Stayed wherever. I forget what happened.
You know what was strange about that game? What was strange, that was Rich Ellerson, right? And you guys basically, is this true or false? You guys had to find your way to the bowl game. You didn't travel as a team down there, right? You didn't fly down there with the team?
No, it was everything was paid for from wherever we went. Wherever we went on our 4 or 5 days we had on leave, which, bless Lieutenant Colonel retired Chad Bagley, the guy running logistical operations for the team, and probably Major Adisa King at the time, having to rope in about 95. I think we traveled. We didn't travel. We traveled large for the bowl game. Brought a bunch of extra freshmen.
Yeah.
So we brought probably 80 guys, maybe 90 guys down to the bowl game.
Wow.
Having to get tickets from this, there, and wherever, all to fly into Dallas Fort Worth. I just remember I wore a suit to just it was a business trip.
Exactly. Hey, real quick, I remember my flight plans were to go down on Sunday, and there was a snowstorm, and my flight was canceled. I had to leave Philly on like a Tuesday or something. Did you have any trouble getting down there or no?
No, not from Maryland. I flew out of Maryland. I think I flew out of Dulles, not even BWI. And it was straight there, straight back.
Do you know, this could be wrong. I don't think I'm making this up, being my old beat writing senses are going off. Did Lawrence Brown miss that game because he couldn't get to that game, or was there a player that missed that game?
That is a true statement.
He couldn't get a flight out, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, he couldn't get a flight out. It was like torrential snowstorm in Virginia. It's crazy.
Yeah, that stunk that he couldn't be. And he was a guy, I'm trying to remember him. He was a guy who played a little bit, right? Or no?
Yeah, he was our nickelback cornerback. He was like our third corner.
Yeah, so hopefully, I think this time the team is leaving together, for the bowl game, so there won't. We have a comment here. It's coming in. We'll just get this in real quick. Martin Hodel says, I think we can all agree that a few missed tackles were the difference, but we can talk about the offensive play calling decisions. I guess he's coming in late to the podcast, right, Steve? We were talking about that.
I think we gave up on the pass, and I think Christian Anderson was the answer. I think they figured out the run pretty soon, and they made a decision that we're gonna put 8 guys in the box and do that. They've got all these. There's so much that goes into their play calling as far as analytics. Coach Monken is an analytic guy, and he doesn't deviate from that based off of emotion very often. So as far as the play calling, it's tough for me. I don't have all the information they have to get after the play calling. Look, I think Olsen should have had more than one catch. That's a fact.
Yeah, we know that.
And I think we should have continued to attack the middle to open up the pitch or the toss or the perimeter on the outside. I don't think Army, other than if it's a complete smoke show, if you do not pitch the ball in the triple option, you will not be successful in running, dive, QB follow. I really like the counter. I love the inside counter play. It's one of my favorite plays, but I didn't really see a lot of counter option plays. I think the counter option is a huge play to throw at the team. So,
I think the one time Christian Anderson attempted to run something similar to that. I mean, they were swarming him in the backfield, and they lost a bunch of yards. And I think that Navy was just a step quicker off the ball, off the snap, and there were some missed assignments, missed blocks that happened, and plays were blown up. And I don't know. I mean, I think that my thing is you had a couple weeks to prepare, right? It seemed like Navy did a little something different out of the shotgun with Levitai, right? That they maybe haven't done in a while. And you just wondering when is it going to come from Army? Once maybe I get it, it's an option based attack, and you do so much, but and then you get that halfback pass in the fourth quarter, and you know,
Sal,
I mean,
that was your
I mean,
favorite play, Sal.
Dude, if you had to go into your bag of tricks in this game, right? Which Navy went into their bag of tricks on a couple plays, right? And they were 3 for 3 on bags of tricks, as far as I know. And Army went to the bag once, and yeah, just funny thing.
Look, I as I continue to watch football, I still think
They caught counter option from the backside. He's saying, which is true. I mean, they ran down that a couple times.
Yeah, I still think one of the best plays is just throw your ball up to the playmaker and allow PI to give you 15 sometimes.
It helps.
I just I really hope that we use Olsen in the bowl game, because I really do think he's a mismatch. He's a mismatch out there.
They haven't had a guy like him in so long. And we were talking about it in the press box. He's not so much a speed guy. He's more of a possession guy. But how you tackle the guy, how you bring him down with one, and then look at that. He turned a 10-yard play into a 35-yard catch, right? I mean,
yeah, but he knows how to look. He's like a basketball player, man. Like he knows how to use his body. He knows how to reach for the ball. He knows how to rebound. Like those are your look. Funniest thing I ever happened in my career. We're first and goal on the 1. Okay. This is a little sneak peek for our guest tomorrow, but we're first and goal on the 1 at Iowa State. Okay. First and goal on the 1, Sal. And we run a fade to Ali Villanueva Martin 4 times in a row. We're like, look, it's a 6'10" guy with a 28-inch vertical versus a 5'10" guy with, I'm sure, a 30-inch vertical. Okay, math adds up. Okay, and no shit, we threw that fade route, chip bound through the fade to the left corner, left-handed quarterback 4 times in a row. Miss, touchdown. Okay, and I'm not saying we should have done that at all with in the game at all. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, look, the guy's a player. You gotta get your players some touches. So,
I think you probably officially go down as 3 targets, but the other 2 I think were rush passes by Christian. He got pressure, and they weren't really,
look, nothing was stopping the 10-yard comeback, the 5-yard comeback. Okay, if you're running, if you're the stats you're telling me are true, Sal, out of 18 first and 10s, we're getting 2 and less. Fuck it, man. Just throw a 5-yard hitch to the pass, right?
Yeah.
And just start from there. And screw it. But I'm getting all
now. Let me just point out one more thing.
I'm supposed to be taking. I gotta get calmed down here. Okay, I got to take care of the baby soon. You got me all fired up.
Man. Hey, real quick. In that fourth quarter, right? They threw I was talking about this at a tailgate before the game, believe it or not. That little 10-yard out play, right? That little 5 to 10-yard out play. They got Cole Catterbone with it in the fourth quarter. They threw a completion there. That's there all game too, especially to a guy like Austin, right? Where you can either throw it, where somebody can't get it. I mean, I just we'll see what happens in the bowl game against Missouri. If they want to win that game, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to throw it a little bit to beat Missouri. You're gonna have to.
Look,
you're gonna have to sucker them in with the run and do play action a couple times. And sometimes you just gotta, hey, we're throwing 86. Let's see if you can defend it.
Look, to run a very effective triple option, right? You gotta establish the fullback, run the QB midline, QB follow. You got to get the ball on the outside, and you got to hit the slot backs up the seam. Okay.
Yeah.
Like those are like what happens. Now, if you add in there, a random, every 12 plays, a 10-yard hitch or 10-yard out or whatever, like shit, man. Like, come on. Like, the corners have got to watch the pitch back as well. So,
yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's see.
I always feel so like, dirty's not the right word, but when I sit here and I just like break down the game about like, oh, look, I played in those games. All right. And those games got away from us. I was part of an Army Navy game where, we were basically even, and we're going in to take the lead, I think, and we fumble the ball on the 2-yard line, and Wyatt Middleton takes it back for 98 yards for a touchdown right before half. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I've been a part of those games, and as I get further removed, it's easier to be like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. We should have done this. But look, I love Army football, and I love that they have an opportunity for those seniors especially, to go out with a W in a bowl game. That, you can say all you want, but not every football player gets to go to a bowl game. Some guys don't ever go to one in their career. So they got to cherish this moment, prepare for it, and execute. And it truly will be for 99% of them, unless, a couple guys, probably one guy will get a shot. This will be the seniors, and most of the people on the football teams, last football game ever in their career.
Yeah, no doubt. Somebody asked if we were going to do like a bowl preview podcast. We'll see. Guys, if you're Martin Holo, we really appreciate your comments tonight. He said, totally agree. We have to make defenses play for overplaying us. Don't let them cheat. If you guys want it, we'll do it pretty much. And tomorrow's a big one, right, Steve? Tomorrow we're going to have your teammate Ali Villanueva on tomorrow night. So if you guys are watching right now, tune in tomorrow night. That's a big one. You can go to our YouTube page, Black Knight Nation. Just type in Black Knight Nation to search, and you'll find, man, we've done some really good podcasts lately. Had a little assist from Kel Walker here and there. Kelvin Hopkins, Pete Dawkins, Ronnie Makeda, Mike Mayweather, and now Ali Villanueva. We're looking forward to that one. Check out us on Twitter, on Instagram, Black Knight Nation. Look me up, Sal Interdonado. Steve, Twitter, I don't know if you want to give your Twitter out.
Hollywood50. I don't really tweet that much. I go for content. I don't really tweet that much. But yeah, I mean, I'm on there, but not really.
Your best way to interact with us is to be on these podcasts and throw us comments. We'll read them. We'll interact with you. We're looking to expand the nation a little bit here, and we got one more. Army's got one more a bowl game coming up. We'll give you all the coverage there. Hoping to get a couple more podcasts in tomorrow. Big one, Ali Villanueva, and one more thing. We got one more comment before we go. Chuck Phillips says Niamato was still on the hot seat. Okay, I'll read it. Ken Niamato was and still is on the hot seat. His guys sold out for him. Coach Munkin made Army football into a beast. They will bounce back. Thanks, Chuck Phillips. We really appreciate that comment.
Yeah, Chuck, it was interesting. There's definitely rumblings about a Navy's coach. I'm not even
Coach Ken.
This season, just from my buddies that I serve with, that are naval grads. But we'll take a look. I mean, he's had a pretty successful career there. But
winningest coach in Navy history, as far as what wins.
But everybody knows college and NFL coaches are what have you done for me lately? So we'll see about that.
I think this Army win definitely gets them some leeway, right? I mean, beating your rival, I think it'd be hard. I've had nothing but great interactions with Coach Ken in my time covering these teams, and we'll see what happens there. But we'll be back tomorrow.
He gave me one of the best things is after my senior year, my Navy game. He came up. I was obviously, pretty upset. Not Just like frustrated, upset. And he had told me I was one of the greatest linebackers he had ever coached against. And I thought that was, just in that moment, I'll never forget that. Just
that's class right
guy.
there.
And something I'll never forget.
Yep. To be determined there, but what is to be determined is tomorrow night. Ollie Villanueva tomorrow night, guys. We appreciate you watching us, and we'll be back for another Black Knight Nation podcast. Steve, thanks for another good one.
Yeah. Beat Missouri.